What's good, fam? It's Gen Z Daddy here, and today I'm going to talk about something that I didn't even realize I was good at until I asked someone very close to me, and that is how to save money. Usually, when I think of my budget, I don't even think of a budget really. I just think of how to spend the least amount of money and still get what I want. I didn't make a budget until almost like a month ago when I started getting into investing a little bit. But before then, I was still able to accumulate about $35,000 at the age of 27. Now, I know people have done a lot more. People have become rich at 27. People have millions of dollars. People also have nothing. I feel like I'm a good middle of the road. I can give you some tips on how to save money. This is not going to be a how to invest and get rich quick. This is going to be a how to not live paycheck to paycheck type video. First tip I would give anyone is you really have to be aware of how much money you make throughout the weeks. I understand a lot of jobs are not 40 hours a week salary. It could be you work 20 weeks or 20 hours one week and then 35 hours the next week, or you get overtime one week and no overtime the next week. I understand that your income might fluctuate throughout the weeks, but you need to make a floor and a ceiling of what is a really good week of earnings I would make and what is a really poor week of earnings that I will make. And you need to adjust that for a monthly budget. Now, you don't have to go and write every single dollar amount down for a budget, but it is crucial to know that you are making more money than you spend, because ultimately that's how you save money. You can't save money if you're spending $600 a week while making $550. It's impossible. I wish you could, but you literally can't. So that brings me to my next point. Once you know how much you make, be mindful of your expenses. Very mindful. There have been a lot of times where I've signed up for a free trial, whether it be Amazon, Chesly, or even like a Club Penguin account. And I go about my free first month, and then I didn't even realize they started billing me for like a second month or a third month. I cannot tell you how many times that's happened. And I feel silly, but I'm sure it's happened to you too. I'm sure it's happening to people all over the place. And that's what they want. They want you to sign up for the first month free and then forget to cancel it. And I swear sometimes I do remember canceling it, but something happens, or I didn't press the right button or the right confirmation button that you need to press to make sure that you really want to end the subscription. And I get charged my second month of Amazon when all I wanted was Amazon Prime for one day to get boots 2 days later. You know what I mean? So just what I would recommend is check your app pretty often. I check it every couple days, and I just look at, okay, do I remember making this purchase? Do I remember making that purchase? I'm not balancing a checkbook. I'm not making sure every penny I spend is going towards something. I'm just making sure that the purchases I make are really the purchases I make and want to make. Because it has bugged me when I log on to Club Penguin and I sign up for a free membership just because I want to play for a day. And then like a month later, when I haven't played it for 27 days, I get charged $12.99 for Penguin account. Yeah, it's kind of stupid. But it happens, and I know I'm not the only one, so you guys should be aware of that too. Subscriptions are a real silent killer. And that's why today's video is sponsored by absolutely no one. No one is going to watch this. So it's not sponsored by any reoccurring bill cutoff agency. The next thing that I want you to make sure that you're doing is see what most of your extra income goes towards. When I made a budget, I found out that the majority of my extra income went towards food. I wasn't quite sure why food was my highest expense with discretionary income, but it was. It didn't really make that much sense to me because I literally have an eating disorder almost, where I just eat the same 4 or 5 meals on rotation each and every day. Food was still my biggest discretionary expense. And it bothered me. I was thinking to myself, why am I spending $300, $400 on food each week? And then I was very mindful about when I went to the grocery store, and I thought to myself, do I really need this? Will I finish all of this? And Also, there are cheaper alternatives. So just know where you're spending most of your money and be aware of how you can change those spending habits. If I'm being completely honest, when I made the budget and from where I am today to where I was then, my spending habits haven't changed all too much. I haven't had a problem saving too much money, so I kind of just bite the bullet and spend a lot of money on food. It might not be the best, but I don't know if people spend even more money on food when they go out to eat. But food is a high expense for me, and as someone who's very active and eats a decent amount of food, it's kind of something I've just grown to accept, and it doesn't really kill my budget. It doesn't make me go in the red. It doesn't make me so that I can't continue to save. So I felt like it is an okay expense. But that doesn't mean that if you have an outrageous price of $400 of buying games each week and you're barely scraping by with breaking even, you should probably adjust some things. If you're not happy with where you are and you have a lot of your extra income going towards something that you can definitely make an adjustment to, don't be afraid to make an adjustment, because other stuff include that you could potentially spend a lot of your money on besides food is collectibles. I remember growing up when I was in my early 20s, I was very gung-ho about buying as many games as possible and building up a collection. And a lot of my discretionary income went towards buying video games. And nowadays, I don't regret that I have all those games, but I regret that it swallowed up so much of my paycheck, because I have a closet full of Pokemon plush that I don't even go in the closet to see. I have a closet full of Nintendo plush like Kirby and Mario that I don't go in the closet to see. I just bought a lot of useless stuff. And I enjoy the games that I have, but I don't play them daily. And I don't know. If I could do it again, I'd probably switch up how I spend things. And then another extra discretionary income expense that you potentially have could be clothes. And I just say this because it's important to bring awareness to what you have and what you're spending your money on. Whether it's a fixed expenditure like rent or car insurance, or it's something that you can adjust. But another saving tip I'd like to give is when you're trying to save money, make it as seamless and easy as possible. This means in the day of 2025, please just make something automated. Every single week, I have $100 coming out of my paycheck and going into a separate account. This is not an investing account. This is not how to invest. This is just I have $100 going someplace else to a savings account because I'm trying to save money. And it might not be the best thing to do with my dollars, but if you're trying to not live paycheck to paycheck, I promise you, make something automated and you will see that you're starting to save money. And your mind will adjust to that and be like, okay, I'm going to get paid, but $20 is coming out, $50 is coming out, $200, whatever it is automatically going to come out. And you'll see how you adjust and see where your money goes and how you can save. Another advice tip is be aware of how much you party. I know Gen Z, we're in like our partying phase. We're in our 20s, late teens, and we're going to want to do that stuff. I'm not here to be that annoying, uncool uncle that says, hey man, don't party, don't have alcohol, don't smoke, don't do any of that. I'm just here to gently remind you that alcohol costs money, and vaping costs money, and those Zins cost money, and marijuana costs money. Everything has a price on it. And although it might be almost like a rite of passage for growing up, in fact, when I was 18 to 21, I was very heavy into all that stuff. It's just something to be aware of. Nowadays, I don't drink a sip of alcohol. I haven't had alcohol in like years at this point. And I don't miss it. It is something that I can live without, and it is something that takes a little bit of adjusting to. But if you can live a life where you're not alcohol dependent and spending 20s of dollars each weekend to just go out and have a good time, you're going to see extra money in your account, and it's going to feel good. Next, I want to encourage you guys to give yourself a hobby label. And what I mean by this is when I was 23, I'm currently 27, a few years ago, I picked up the hobby of running. And for a while, I didn't even want to like label myself a runner because I just didn't feel like a runner. But I encourage you guys that if there's a hobby that you love, if you love scrapbooking, call yourself a creative scrapbooker. If you love the fitness and gym, you can call yourself a gym bro or a fitness nut. If you love running, label yourself a runner. Labeling has helped me rationalize some spending and guides me towards what actually brings joy to me. So that means I can rationalize spending $150 on these shoes because they're great running shoes and they'll give me fulfillment and enjoyment when I go out and practice for my half marathon or my marathon. Because a lot of times I'd feel so guilty, like, oh man, I don't want to buy this, but when it comes to shoes, I'll drop $200 on. But if you tell yourself, hey, this is what a runner does, or hey, this is what someone that goes to the gym and is a gym bro does, you can rationalize your healthy spending habits. And this isn't to give you a free pass of like, I can get those runner shorts now that are $40. I can get those socks that are $30. No, this is just to help you get over and to help people who are kind of more reserved with spending money. Because I know I am. I don't like to see money leave my account. It's annoying. It makes me feel like, oh, I should probably just save. But I rationalize it by giving myself a hobby label. And you can too if you struggle with that kind of stuff. I want you guys to also be very mindful about when you do most of your shopping. Is it late at night in bed when you're bored and you're on the shopping app or you're scrolling Safari and you're like, man, this would be really cool if I just had like a nice little lamp on the bedside. Or man, this would be really cool if I got this gummy supplement. Is it when you're bored? Do these purchases really make sense? You got to avoid having a consumer mindset. Only buy things that really bring value to your life because there will always be a limited time offer, a good deal on something, a rare find, but that doesn't mean you need them. You don't need something just because it's a limited time or a good deal. You need something when it brings value to your life. So don't fall into the mistake of mindless shopping or buying something because it's a good deal. And lastly, it doesn't have to be an all or nothing mindset. Just because you want to start saving doesn't mean you have to be like, okay, I'm going to set aside $200 a week now because my bills are $500 and I make $700. No, it doesn't have to be like that. In fact, I'd encourage you to start with maybe put aside $20 a week. See what it feels like. See if you can sustain it for a couple weeks. If it's easy, put aside 40. If that's easy, keep building up until something's comfortable, and then you're automatically saving like $100 each week or more if you can. I know with my budget, $100 a week is pretty easy and pretty sustainable. I've been thinking about going up to 125, 150, but nervous to make that step, happy where I am. We'll see. But lastly, I'd just like to break down my budget, show you guys or tell you guys what a budget for a 27-year-old mailman really looks like. I get paid just under $1,500 biweekly, and that's my take-home pay. So on a floor paycheck, it would be like $1,450. Let's say that, right? And that means I make about $2,900 on a floor month. My bills include housing of $650, car insurance of $89, health insurance of $270, a couple miscellaneous bills like internet, music stuff, gym stuff, phone stuff, for a total of $1,158 in fixed bills. If you take my floor income for the month of $2,900 minus it by the fixed income or the fixed expenditures of $1,150, that means I have $1,750 to play around with. Now, I have flexible expenditures like gas and food. I found out that biweekly my food is $800 because it's $400 a week, and gas biweekly is $120. So if I take $920 and subtract it from $1,650, I'm looking at $730 that I have to save extra. And I auto save $100 a week, so that's $400 in a month. So that means conservatively I have $330 to play with, and that's my basic budget. It takes a little bit of honesty and a little bit of humbleness to write it all down. I don't know if that made a whole lot of sense or if you're able to follow it, but having 350 extra dollars to play around with. I might just throw that in a savings. I might try to invest that a little bit, but on my floor months, I'm comfortably living. And I think that's important. So then that means on my ceiling months, I'm comfortably living even more. And that's why I've been able to save so much money over the past couple of years. And $30,000 isn't even that much compared to a lot of these 20 something year olds, but it's something. And I really started being able to focus on my savings when I turned 26, actually, only about a year and a half ago when I got the mailman job. So before that, I didn't really pay attention to my budget that much. I just knew I couldn't spend a lot. That's how I've been doing. And that's how I hope you guys are able to start saving and not live paycheck to paycheck. Good luck out there, kids.